Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to another episode of the series where we take a look at some of our Dragon Ball Z Figuarts and talk about some ways to potentially make them better. And in today's episode, you guys voted for him, it's Trunks. So Trunks, one of the only characters in the anime who has his very own timeline and can safely say he's made a difference in it, all the while adding completely nothing to the show. Now this is one of the first 2.0s we're actually deconstructing in the series, and it was also one of the first 2.0s to be released after Awakening Goku. But as we all know, being the first of something usually comes with its own problems. And I mean, don't get me wrong, if we had nothing else to expect, this figure would be perfectly suitable for a display. But being the hardcore Dragon Ball fans we are, we always want every single opportunity to recreate our favorite scenes from the anime. And speaking of recreating scenes, is this the best you guys could come up with to put on the back of the box? I mean, half the shots on his box are just close-ups of his torso or his face, not exactly poses, which kind of says something about the figure overall. But I'm getting ahead of myself, let's get into it piece by piece. Okay, so first I wanted to touch on the articulation. Definitely an improvement over the 1.0. I mean, what a difference, eh? I tell you, a night or two in the hyperbolic time chamber can do you wonders. But seriously, the articulation is certainly a step in the right direction. I mean, yes, he does come with crossed arms, but his individual arms can also go very close together to recreate that exact pose. This guy, on the other hand, cannot do that. This is as far inwards as his arm can go. Good luck on the pec deck, my friend. Now concerning the 2.0, somewhere on the figure that really needs improvement with its articulation is the legs. That is about as far as they can split outwards. They're limited by the newly implemented joint system here, which isn't bad by any means because of course it makes the figure that much better to look at. Not that you should be staring at the guy's crotch anyways. But I mean, like, standing up, if you didn't move one leg to the side at a time, that's the maximum distance it can travel. And that doesn't look too great. I mean, especially if you're trying to do something as simple as a roundhouse kick or something. Can't quite get the form there, Trunks. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I have this guy have the crossed arms on, he's really hard to get to stand up. Like, you literally have to press him down into the floor for him to stand up. Now I want to talk a bit about his individual arms, but before I go ahead and do that, I just want to go over something with you guys. This piece here is very, very weak, and let me show you guys what I mean. All it takes for this to unhinge is a simple slide. That's it, ladies and gents. That's right, guys. I mean, this isn't the best quality. Surely you could have come up with some form of engineering to help it stay in place solely then, oh, let's hope that they pop the arm on here before it slides off. And I mean, really the main reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's such a pain to plug the individual arms back on if that shoulder isn't strong enough to stay in place by itself. I mean, with a character like Trunks, you need the ability to recreate overhead positions, and if you're gonna have the arms fall off half the time when you're trying to get them up there, it doesn't make it worthwhile. Okay, so one last thing here about the body. I know it seems like I'm ripping this figure to shreds, but believe me, I am grateful for it, but the calves are messed up. If you look at anybody's calf muscle, the lateral portion, the outside portion, should usually, in most cases, be the bigger side. And if you look at it here, it looks like whoever made this figure didn't really take that into account, and as a result, the dude's got some messed up calves. Alright, now aside from that, in terms of his appearance, how else can we improve this guy for a 3.0 if not just another 2.0 Trunks release? I know a lot of people actually wanted this appearance with his ripped up jacket and the black tank top where he looks jacked, and I'm a fan of that appearance as well. And of course we also have his super appearance. But before we get into any of that, let's dissect this figure's appearance first. Alright, so one of the first things I wanted to point out here is, seeing as how these two practically use the same sculpt for their body, what the heck happened to Trunks? Why is Trunks' stomach so much more pudgy looking than Vegeta's? I mean, either Trunks caught on to the dad bod phase a little bit too early, or he needs to lay off the beers. Has anyone else noticed that? Why is it so much more round and beer gutty here than Vegeta's? Alright, but aside from that, I do like the teensy bit of shading they threw on the legs. However, to me, it just looks kind of weird that it doesn't go all the way up to the hips here and just becomes this like different shade of blue all of a sudden. Again, just a minor thing, but noticeable. And with the hair, they threw in a little bit of shading here, and this is how I like it. I don't like it too glossy because it looks like honey mustard that's dried up on some plastic. I like it like that. They didn't throw it in on the back of the figure, but that's okay because chances are you're not posing the back of the figure towards you anyways. Now in terms of the overall Super Saiyan appearance, I think Super Saiyan Grade 3 or Ultra Super Saiyan Trunks would have been the way to go, at least not with the hair tied back, because as I can recall, every time Trunks was fighting and he looked like this in the anime, he didn't have his hair tied back, it was unleashed. throw in a picture here. And another thing about this figure is you don't really get much. You get some claw hands, some fist hands, and some energy blast hands. But no accessories, nothing for burning attack, no energy blast, not even a sword for good measure. I mean, for God's sakes, throw in a Capsule Corp capsule or a Senzu beam. People pay good money for these figures. Also, if they go with the Dragon Ball Super appearance, the hair for Super Saiyan Trunks would be shorter again, but I wouldn't mind seeing as how it looked pretty well done on Xeno Trunks. Now, there are a ton of images for some great customs people made, and if any of these are yours, definitely let me know, because they look fantastic. And just a note with the Super appearance, I do actually like the look of the blue Capsule Corp jacket with the red bandana on the front. Now, seeing as how we didn't get too many faces with Trunks this time around, I'm curious to see what kind of faceplates they would include for the next release. Possibly a Super Saiyan Rage face? Honestly, part of me doubts that they would include this because that would mean that Tamashi's actually acknowledging someone other than Goku or Gohan having a moment where they're destroying a main villain. Prove me wrong, Tamashi. Prove me wrong. Alright, so I know I spent most of this episode picking this figure apart, but there are some things that they did do right with it. And first is the scale. I'm really happy that they acknowledged this and Trunks didn't end up the same size as Vegeta. And I mean, if you're still integrating 1.0 Trunks into the mix, it works well because it's kind of like he actually did grow after that year in the hyperbolic time chamber. Another couple of things that they did well with this release are the inclusion of both the base form hair and the Super Saiyan hair, and it was a bonus that they actually included a brand new sculpt. Lastly, I'm really happy that they did go with some shading here and not just give us that dried up honey mustard look on this figure's Super Saiyan hair. So for why'd you do it, my question is, why did you choose this combination of armor and this hair sculpt for Super Saiyan Trunks? I mean, they did show us the longer haired version, so what exactly changed? Knowing Tamashi, we might never find out that answer. To me, this figure's okay, but much like when he sported this look in the anime, he was just sitting in the background watching his dad fight until he got beat up by Cell. And much like his anime counterpart, I just see this figure taking a backseat in the background of my display. All in all, there definitely are some options to consider for the next Trunks release, but with Dragon Ball Super coming to an end, it's questionable which one we'll actually receive. But it is interesting to note that they do have everything they need for Super Trunks from Xeno Trunks, including the sword. Alright guys, that was it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see the next episode, and as always, hope the best of your todays are the worst of your tomorrows. Peace.